When I stood on the platform when I won my world title, I was numb. I was a bit like, oh gosh, how did I get here? And it takes a little while for it to kind of seep in, and you go, oh my God, I actually achieved that. That's something that I did. But when you're caught up in the whirlwind of it all, it's quite numbing. But it's later on when you reflect back on what you've done that I think is the time when you can actually appreciate what you've done. So my name's Holly. I grew up in Wimbledon, South London, and currently I am the owner of Reebok CrossFit Connect. I'm a personal trainer and a nutritionist. Obviously, when I studied to become a personal trainer and I did my sports science, I wanted to go into the fitness industry. I started in regular gyms, and honestly I was really disappointed with what I found. It wasn't what I had expected it to be. And then it was a friend of mine who actually found CrossFit, and we tried our first workout together, and it was just something that we both went, okay, that's what we've been looking for.
I got sucked into CrossFit because it offers everything. It's not one modal domain, it's a massive range of different things, and it's constantly you're developing and trying new things and pushing, so it's more engaging and keeps you kind of engaged, so you get quite into it.
It just made sense to me. It made a lot more sense to me that you work the body as a whole, it's enjoyable, it's exciting, it's part of a community. All of those things, I think, is what bring people back into it all the time, because the gym can be a really lonely place. I started weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, in 2010. It was not long after I discovered CrossFit. I discovered CrossFit in 2007, became qualified CrossFit coach in the beginning of 2008. Part of the movements that we use in CrossFit are Olympic weightlifting, so I needed to make sure that I was teaching it correctly. So I went off to find a coach to ask him if I was doing it correctly, and then he decided and saw my technique and decided that I was good for competing. The high points of my Olympic weightlifting career has been winning a world title in Poland. I think that's probably the biggest that I've managed. I've other achievements as well, but that was probably the pinnacle. Injury is always the low point whenever you're trying to do something, especially with weightlifting, because obviously injury holds you back massively, and you lose the gains that you've made over a period of time if you don't keep moving through. So injury is always, for an Olympic weightlifter, it is always a bad thing. I've never really been a massively competitive person. I think really it was my enjoyment of the sport that pushed me through, and wanting to, for myself, achieve something. It wasn't really ever about stepping on the platform and being better than somebody else. It was just really about being better in myself each time I competed, achieving something more than I had achieved the last time.
My motivation is just to push myself. You know, because you get older, but it's not over. You can keep going and you can keep pushing and keep developing.
It is a male-dominated area of fitness, yes, but I'm noticing now that it is becoming a much more popular sport with women, which really makes me very happy, because there is no need for it to be just men, but that's just the perception of male and female anyway. I think you get it in any gym that you step into. There is an area of the gym that is perceived to be the man's area of the gym, and it's sometimes quite intimidating for men when they see a woman taking on a sport that is thought of as a male sport. But really, you can't let it get to you. You can't think about that. If you're determined enough and you've got enough drive to achieve, that really can't be a consideration.
Oh, she's a very inspirational person. You know, you're talking about somebody that, you know, has an amazing career in Olympic lifting, did that at the time as kind of like a single mum. You know, she working her ass off as well, self-funded the whole thing. You know, she's an amazing person to be able to have achieved the stuff that she's done. Yeah, so she is an inspiration.
Mum, owner of a business, Olympic weightlifter, CrossFitter, all of these things. Yeah, sometimes I would fail at that balance. Sometimes it would all get quite a bit too much. But then you just find it again. There have been times when I've taken my children with me on training sessions and they've just literally had to sit and wait whilst I lift. So in a way, if you are determined enough to do it, you'll find a way. I think the most important thing when you are embarking on a journey of fitness or health is to constantly remind yourself of why you're doing it. Because if you don't know why, it's really easy to get caught up in, especially in things like CrossFit, because it is a community, it's really easy to get caught up in what other people are doing. And at the end of the day, whatever your fitness journey is, or whatever your competitive journey is, your sport, is about you, and it's about what you want to get out of it and what you want to achieve. So don't forget that.